Good morning. We are the Boston Scientific Scope team, and we're excited to share with you our work on designing next-generation disposable duodenoscopes. My name is Talia Tandler, my co-presenter is Jingyi Xu, and the rest of our team is Andrew Holmes, Regina Walker, and Liv Kelly. We wanted to give a special thank you to our Scope faculty advisor, Alicia Sarang-Skaminski, and our Boston Scientific liaison, Steve Delfos. We also wanted to thank all of the other Olin faculty and Boston Scientific engineers that supported us throughout this project. Our project was focused around a procedure called ERCP, which stands for endoscopic retrograde cholangiopancreatography. ERCP takes place in the gastrointestinal tract. And so as part of our process this year, we had to learn quite a bit about the anatomy of this space. And so we're gonna give you a quick anatomy lesson as well. On the left of the screen is a GI tract. And during ERCP, physicians navigate an endoscope through this tract. The scope is pushed down the esophagus, around the bend of the stomach, and ends in the duodenum, which is the first part of the small intestine and the target area for ERCP. On the right of the screen is a zoomed in image of the duodenum with the scope in place as it would be during a procedure. ERCP specifically takes place in the bile duct, and you can see that highlighted in green. There are approximately 450,000 ERCP procedures performed each year, and most of the procedures take place to treat stones and strictures which cause obstruction in the bile duct. When the stones and strictures are left untreated, they can be painful and detrimental to a patient's health. Due to the anatomy and the positioning of the bile duct in the duodenum, ERCP uses a specific type of endoscope called a duodenoscope, which is the main focus of our project. The duodenoscope is a very fragile, high precision, and reusable medical device. Because of their fragility, each scope is cleaned by hand in between ERCP procedures. And unfortunately, studies have shown that 71% of reusable scopes actually have tested positive for bacterial growth. This is an issue because it has the potential to cause cross-contamination between patients.
Boston Scientific is a leading company in the medical device industry, and to address this issue of cross-contamination, Boston Scientific has developed a disposable duodenoscope. It works and looks exactly the same as a traditional reusable duodenoscope, so that physicians don't have to adapt to any new design changes. This disposable duodenoscope is a great innovation, but it is just the first generation scope designed by Boston Scientific. And here is our project comes in. Boston Scientific has asked us to look into the future and see what the next generation disposable duodenoscope could be. This is a great opportunity for us to move beyond the conventional design of the existing reusable duodenoscope because the current design has not been changed for years. We can also use this opportunity to explore how to leverage disposability in the next generation scope design. And to accomplish this goal, we took several steps in the process. In the beginning of the process, we did a lot of background research on the ERCP procedure. We visited Boston Scientific engineers who held hands-on demonstration of the procedures with us. As you can see in the picture, that is our team in Boston Scientific trying to perform an ERCP procedure in a fake GI tract. Most importantly, we also visited physicians to learn about their experience in performing ERCP. In the next steps of the project, we synthesized the knowledge we got from the initial research and were able to identify multiple problems and challenges in the ERCP procedure, such as positioning the duodenoscope in the duodenum or managing many different tools involved in the procedure. But for today, we want to highlight one specific step in the procedure that is the most challenging one, which is cannulation. As you can see on the picture, the black tube is the tip of a duodenoscope, Once the scope reaches the duodenum, physicians need to first insert a tool into that small opening of the papilla. They then need to direct that tool into the bile duct instead of the pancreatic duct. These two steps combined are called cannulation. Cannulation requires very precise operation, and it happens in a space that can be as small as the size of a penny. To quantify the difficulty of this operation, it usually takes 5 to 15 attempts for successful cannulation. 10% of procedures have difficult cannulation, which means a higher risks to procedure complications such as tissue perforation or pancreatitis. And as we mentioned before, cannulation was just one of the problems we identify in the process. After we have a list of problems, potential problems of ERCP, we spend lots of time brainstorming potential solutions that could address these problems. And we arrive at a large pool of different ideas. We then evaluated the usefulness of these ideas based on our initial research, as well as the feedbacks we got from physicians, from Boston Scientific engineers, and Olin faculties. Every time we got new insights or new feedback, we will actually go back and try to ideate more solutions. This was a very creative and iterative process that helped us come up with many compelling solutions to ERCP challenges. Towards the end of the process, we decided on one solution that we decided on one solution mainly based on physician feedback, and this solution specifically addresses the issue of cannulation.
So as Jingyi mentioned, our solution is focused on improving cannulation, and we did this by coming up with an added functionality to the tip of the duodenoscope. This added functionality has the potential to increase the precision and accuracy with which cannulation can be performed, and we believe this also has the potential to lead to a higher success rate of cannulation during ERCP procedures. The increased precision will also help physicians perform the cannulation step of a procedure in fewer attempts than they currently are, and ultimately decrease the procedure time of ERCP. Additionally, a higher success rate and a lower procedure time is overall better for patients and decreases their risk that they undergo when having an ERCP procedure. At the end of the project, we gave Boston Scientific a fully functional and 2-scale computer design that both integrates our new design with the existing features of the duodenoscope. We also built a 3.5 times scaled up version of the scope to demonstrate physically how our solution works with the existing scope. And the last thing is that during this project and over the course of the year, we generated over 70 solutions and improvements to ERCP and the duodenoscope. While we could not pursue all of these designs, we did file for intellectual property on 4 of the solutions that were novel and could be useful to Boston Scientific in the future. The culmination of our work this year created a comprehensive view of problems and solutions of both ERCP and the duodenoscopes. Boston Scientific will be able to use our work as they continue to iterate on the disposable scopes and design the next generation. Thank you all for listening. If you want to play with an actual scope, we will have one at our poster session this afternoon.